Yo, it's your boy Rush. I'm in the building. Promote my side hustle, Rush Enterprise. If you're in the state of New Jersey, you need armed guards or unarmed guards. Pretty much just hit me up on my business line, email, or Instagram. Today I got a dope panel. We're gonna cover some Marvel joints. Now I mean, we're gonna get it popping, man. Yeah. Yo, what's popping, y'all, man?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, man? Yo, today we going to expound on a few comics. You already guys got the memo on what we're going to talk about. So, I guess we could start off with. Give me like 2 seconds. I guess the hold on. My bad, y'all. Kind of unprepared, but we're gonna start off with the Spider-Verse versus WandaVision. We're gonna expound on the film, both films, the Spider-Verse with the
Multiverse
I got
and Wonder Reality.
yeah. And pretty much let's expound on that. Let's do a compare and contrast to see, you know what I mean, which Spider-Verse is a lot better. Talk to me.
Well, are we saying the Spider-Verse, the live action movie with the
Yo,
the
turn up
three
your volume.
Spider-Men,
We
or
can't really hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Hold on. All right, is that better?
Still kind of low. Can y'all hear him?
That's kind of low.
Yeah, turn up your volume.
I don't know how to get my volume up. I think I'm up as loud as it goes.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and put me. I'll put myself on mute.
You probably received a phone call. That's why your volume's low.
Is that any better?
Oh yeah,
Now we can hear you.
All right. I had it. Yeah, it was on a different audio filter or something. Because I
Okay.
can hear all you guys better now too. Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and give us a
Well,
breakdown, man.
Were we talking the animated movies, the across
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Spider-Verse and into the Spider-Verse?
The Miles Morales Spider-Verse film
All right.
part 2, compared to the WandaVision big screen film, the one that was actually in theaters a while back with the with the people, with actual humans. It's we're comparing the animated film with the actual film. With
Okay,
live
Spider
people.
so Spider-Man No Way Home versus the animated Across the Spider-Verse.
We can start off with that. We can start off with that, and then we'll get on to the WandaVision.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody want to kick it off, or I can start.
You the Kickstarter, man. You the spearhead today, man. Go ahead, man.
I mean, for me, I think that they're very different because you had the animated Spider-Verse movies had such a unique style of animation that we hadn't seen before, and it was addressing characters like Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales that, again, we hadn't really seen, at least for older audiences. And I think they did an incredible job of creating this several different worlds and bringing these characters together while keeping their individual animation intact. Everybody looked different, but kind of blended together. But the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, that was 20 something years of fulfillment that you got with that. That started in 2001 or 2 was Tobey Maguire's first movie, and then wrapping up 3 different Spider-Man universes. I don't know, the kid in me was filled with joy and rapture for that. So I feel like it's hard to pick which one is better, you know what I mean?
I think both films are incredible. Now, as you was breaking down on the 3 versions of the Incredible Spider-Man or whatever, the third one they had the latest one they had made with Tobey Maguire and the other two characters, along with the Green Goblin. I think my favorite character within that film was the Green Goblin, man. I think he did an incredible job on how he has the multiple personalities and how he had such a zealous feeling towards Peter Parker. I think that film was an A+. But when we get to the Miles Morales joint, Into the Spider-Verse, that was also good too, especially with the ending. Like the ending towards the movie got me excited for the sequel with the Prowler, because within that multiverse, the Miles Morales in the different multiverse end up becoming the Prowler instead of Incredible Spider-Man. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought that was dope.
no, absolutely. I really like that, because it's taking someone we view as a hero generally and putting them in the shoes of a villain, and it's kind of an ultimate what if story. One change in his life put him down this darker path, instead of being Spider-Man, never meeting Peter B. Parker and never seeing his world Spider-Man die, changed his trajectory into this, being much more influenced by his uncle, who, Aaron Davis, who is the original Prowler. So yeah, it definitely set up, Miles versus Miles in this kind of, dark universe of who Miles could have been.
Right. And I think that character, the Prowler, will be an incredible anti-hero, man. Like I could already see it, you know what I mean? Because that's how they kick it off. He's a villain, and then somehow he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and he switches up.
Of course.
Becomes, not a super good guy, but pretty like kind of neutral, and handling things within his own manner. Because a lot of times when those type of characters are developed in the first stages, yeah, they are a bad guy, but they end up becoming like rogue, doing the right thing.
Yeah,
and,
so it's your standard anti-hero. You got guys like Punisher, Red Hood, Deadpool. These are all questionable means to a good end. They want the right result. They just do questionable things to get there.
Right. And I think that's going to be dope. Stanley, go ahead, man. Give us a breakdown. Give us your thoughts on that, man. Talk to me.
So the Doctor Strange movie 2, I love the idea when the America one is the variant that she's not copied no matter what, right? Leave it open to the laws of anything. They got to be anti-America somewhere, because they got to have a balance, right? But I like that she did not know there was a Spider-Man. Like across all the universes she's gone through, there's not a Spider-Man, so she never met a Spider-Man. So that shows whatever spell that Doctor Strange did went through all the multiverse. That's one. And then two, we already know there's a Spider-Verse, so there is a Spider-Man everywhere, right? So they got me thinking, like, with Madam Web, the Spider-Verse got their own mission. Like, it can't be detected by the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that concept.
I like that.
Yeah, I like how you thought of that. I ain't gonna lie, because that does speak some truth. Because you gotta think about it, right? Because technically, since Madam Web, she ends up going to this, like, you could say this spider vortex where she's in this realm on her own, and eventually these spiders, they're honestly like in every universe, eventually trying to find their Peter Parker or whoever they're connected to, what they end up biting and then giving off the powers. So it's very interesting. But as far as Spider-Verse and then comparing to like the other Spider-Man movies, this is my perspective. I did like the whole Spider-Verse thing. I did like the major plot twist when towards the end of the movie when you end up finding out that the so-called Miles Morales that we've seen and enjoy for the time being wasn't technically supposed to be the Miles Morales that the spider was supposed to bit. It was supposed to be the other guy, which is funny because this is like the first time we take our eyes off of Peter Parker and now we're touching someone else that is supposed to be quote unquote touched upon this spider, but reality was technically warped to the wrong timeline and end up finding the wrong Miles Morales, which then ends up doing what this does here. Because technically, this version of Miles Morales that we know is technically supposed to be the Prowler, because he's going to lose his father, which, you know, massive plot twist right there. Because as always, Peter Parker always got to lose someone important in his life. Or in this case, any Spider-Man or Spider-Woman got to lose someone important in their life. Massively.
Except for Jessica Drew, though. Did she lose anybody?
Now, well, okay, which spider is hers?
Spider-Woman.
Which spider?
But no, she was in the same universe as Spider-Man, so I'm like,
okay. Well,
are you talking about Gwen or the actual?
No, Gwen.
No. Gwen is Spider-Gwen. I mean Spider-Gwen, but the
Spider-Gwen, yeah.
So that's
so you're actually talking about the Spider-Woman,
the real one.
Because you know there's 3 different versions of them. You know that, right?
That's why I was like, which one?
No, the real one. The real it's on if you got
this. You talking about like the red yellow one?
Yes, because she somehow got magical powers that Spider-Man don't have. Like she could fly, she could read minds.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think her powers are morally different because I think she's morally connected different. And plus, I think like when it comes to like men and women, when they get bitten, I think they have different, like way different powers overall. Because if you think about if you look at the Madam Web, those females got way jacked up powers, way more better than Spider-Man's, to be honest.
Yeah, man. I wasn't really a fan of the film, man. Like,
well,
I watched it because I'm a Marvel fan, period. But to me, you know, it wasn't that great. You know what I mean? Like, I give it a
okay. What's your number?
I give it a D-.
But you know why? They don't read comics.
Well, what's your number though? Like what the number rating? Like a 5, you saying, or a 4?
Yeah, I give it a strong 4.
Okay. That's more generous than I am. That's a solid 2 for me.
Yeah,
okay. So we on the same
y'all really
page,
down. Well, y'all really down.
But you know why?
Go ahead.
Why, Wally? It's like they don't read the comics, so like you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell they're not real fans. You know, they just get it for a check. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's that's part of the problem too. Because I've said that time and time again. It's like the people who ever directing these, they're not real fans of it. They're just like, hey, look, let's just make an action and then let's call it a day. But for me, when I watched the movie, this is my perspective of the movie. Y'all said it was trash. Me, on the other hand, when I watched the movie, regardless if they knew it or not, just by the elements of how they placate, everything else, the scenery, just touching on like the pivotal thing, like, okay, you're trying to build this person to being this, you're trying to build this person to have some type of connection, have this humanary factor, have this thought-provoking moment, and then bring that nice hero feel in, right? And when I thought of the movie, I'm like, okay, this hits. But the only thing that would piss me off was, how the frick you gonna keep telling me the dude has visions of these 3 girls beating his ass, and then you don't let the 3 girls beat that ass? Like what? No. How you flip that at the end? How?
You're gonna give them visions now. What I will say for the movie is that they had these the costumes they had at the end, or in the vision when they were in the suits. They looked awesome, and you didn't get them in that at all.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it was so stupid. Like, wait a minute. The perfect timing for these girls to get the powers were when she was going to that island. Why took them? What are we doing?
Well, because you don't want to tell stories. They want to tell these stories always with the future in mind. You can't tell just a standalone story.
So stupid. Because it's like, if that's the case, why give that dude that vision that he could get beat up by them? So that's telling me, like, okay, this dude is already defeated, more likely dead. So I'm like, huh?
But could it
no sense?
Could it be that it was already there and then the editing didn't happen? Which, again, across the board, you have people who don't read comics, who don't understand comics, who want us to read their interpretations, which we are over with. We don't want your interpretation. Stan Lee, Kirby, all of them did a great job. Follow it. You got material upon material. Like what they done the Archie comics in Riverdale, that's just nasty.
Oh yeah,
Material.
that was a mess.
But you know what made the film kind of so weak?
Mhm.
What made the film like borderline trash? Well, it's trash anyway. But what made it trash was the villain. Like the villain within that film was not was not good at all. Like he doesn't have a backstory to him or why he is evil. You know what I'm saying? He's just a rich dude. Go ahead.
Well,
Oh yeah,
well, the problem with that is that Ezekiel Sims is such an interesting character in the comics and has a lot of history within the Spider-Man mythos, and all they did was make him. And so many movies are guilty of this, where the villain of the movie has to just be the antithesis of the hero. So you saw that in the first Iron Man movie. He's a guy in a metal suit. He's got to fight another guy in a metal suit. You have
hold on. Let me interject real quick. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I feel you on that. But when you look at the canon story of Iron Man, him having that villain that inspired him to create that suit, well, it wasn't really the villain. It was just his situation that inspired him to make that suit. Like that made the comic good because of that certain villain that has that that strong zealous of hatred towards Tony Stark's. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not crapping on Iron Man. I'm just saying it's a pattern, especially in comic book movies, to make So this is a movie about spider people, so we need a villain that has spider powers. This is a movie about metal people. We need a metal villain. It just feels lazy.
Well, here's the one
thing. No,
I
totally agree with you on that. But see, when you look at, my bad for jumping from a different subject matter, but I'm gonna tie it in and get my point across. Like when you look at the Miles Morales joint Into the Spider-Verse, the dude that was running the whole time travel team and all that, and going to different
2099.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2099. Like you got his backstory. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I kind of felt him in the film is like, yeah, I understand why he's a messed up individual, because he went through a whole situation of destroying a whole different multiverse within his own realm. So that's why he was he was kind of strict on certain policies he would enforce within his his team or whatever within.
But real quick, because one thing I will add to that, right? But here's the difference between him and the guy we're talking about as far as in the Madam Web. The thing is, at least with Spider-Man 2099, he had a heartfelt moment, which is why he's in that messed up situation. We don't give a crap about the villain because we're not trying to sympathize with the villain. That's why they don't give that backdrop story for the villains, which is why I'm honestly for like villain TV shows. Like right now, if you know what's going on with the Penguin, I like that stuff. Give us backdrop stories on the villains. Give us, because they all come from somewhere.
Hold on. Are you talking about Gotham or the actual?
No. The Penguin.
The show, the Penguin.
The Penguin. Okay.
That's coming off of the Batman from the Elseworld project. So yeah, so from that standpoint, we have to start getting villains like that, because they all start from somewhere. The Joker. We all know the Joker is messed up, jacked up, and all this. But before he was ever the Joker, he was just a regular dude, just trying to make jokes. And then he snapped. We all got to get backdrop stories of people. Everyone has one. But the thing is, they don't sell the synthesized part of where they all came from, because we don't want to understand the villains. Why not? Because we already showed them to be just that, villains. We don't care. We don't have no sympathy for them. We don't give a rat's ass. The same way, think about it in today's world. We will look at somebody that out here kills, sell drugs and all that, but we don't have no sympathy for them, right? But we all know why they end up doing it, because they were trying to do something. They were trying to survive, or however it may be, for whatever reason. But we don't care about their sad stories. They just did wrong. So that's the same thing. Like, you gotta look at it the same way. But I mean, don't get me wrong. As far as the guy being a big component to that, to the beginning of where it all begins with the spiders, he definitely needed more than that. And this is why I say him dying off so early was so stupid, because how do you let the dude die when the girls were the ones to do it and they weren't even having powers?
But you know that shows. But what that shows is that he's gonna come back allegedly, because it didn't happen, right?
That's the tough part.
So if it didn't happen, and they didn't do it, therefore it's
Don't say it didn't happen. We all saw what happened.
But like again,
Yo, it looked like Chris want to say something, man. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean you could say that it means he's going to come back, or you could say that it just means that they, chopped this movie into bits and they weren't paying attention to what they were putting out because they were in a rush to get
And that's what I'm saying.
another Sony project out, because Sony is trying to build this Spider universe outside of the MCU and making a mess of it.
And the thing is, look, don't get me wrong, right?
Mhm.
It would have been smart for them to do it, but the thing
Salute to you, Ignorant TV. I see you in the building. Yo, Lola, without Alonzo was popping. Salute. My bad, man.
Yeah, no problem. No, but the thing is, it would have been smart for them to start it because Spider-Verse goes beyond long marches. And if you sit here and say, if you're able to hold it up and be like, okay, let's say we started the Spider-Verse. We started here. We got the intellectual property. So let's start with Madam Web and let's bring it all down, right? Because they literally have all the components to do it right now. They wanted to, especially to the point that we already know Madam Web somehow, some way is connected to Peter Parker because, hello, who do we have in that movie?
You got Ben.
Yeah, exactly. And funny enough, that connection was like major because if you didn't pick up the name at that point and realize that and everything else, you would never know. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
But look, when you have people who don't care about the property, when you have people who don't read and who don't get it, and we left to their interpretations, we have hot messes like Morbius, we have delayed projects like Crave, we have Venom, and it's okay, but when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is Beauty and the Beast. That's what y'all trying to do here. Okay, fine, whatever. It's not.
I mean, it's just a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, right.
That's all it is.
And then you have the Spider-Verse, and then you have the multiverse, and you have WandaVision, right? And I'm looking at this, right? Sony is the weaker link because, yeah, you could now if you read the comic book, Sony. Now this is only to Sony and the people out there, right? If you read the comic book from the 80s and the 90s, you got Venom by himself, right? Madam Web by herself. That's a whole book, minus Spider-Man, where you can actually care for the characters. Morbius, you could introduce some real vampires. You could have like somebody used to roll with Blade. It could have stood alone, just like the X-Men. X-Men never needed Hulk or whatever. X-Men had all these mutants, and that was it, right? But then, you have this. Sony, in a lot of these places, like, you got to start hiring people who actually care and know the product. I'm going to say this. I'm always going to say this. We don't
But you know what, Stanley? I think they just bit off the 90s TV show, The Madam Web, because it's just a watered down version of it. You know what I mean? And they did a horrible job trying to revise that storyline from the 90s TV show, The Amazing Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
But you use a Madam Web, right? That right there opened the Spider-Verse more. Because of real life Spider-Verse, because Madam Web don't only go for Spider-Man, you could have gone for, again, Spider-Woman and all the different types of Spider-Women out there.
That's the thing, because she's literally in that spider vortex. She can connect to any of them, to be honest.
Yeah, because when you look at that, right, it's like a long time ago. Again, I'm always going to go back to the 90s and 2000s. That's when they used to have writers that wrote stuff and read books. There was something called the Exiles, right? Which was dead mutants from different timelines, and they went through fixing stuff, and that was like introduction to the not only multiverse but different Kang the Conquerors, right? It's standalone, right? I think a lot of times when people go to
Lord have mercy.
when people like go into these properties, right? It should be mandatory that you need to read it You need to meet us, the actual people who read the comics, not somebody from college who's going to give you no damn interpretation. They got no feelings, none whatever. Kill it. You got to meet people and stop damaging intellectual properties when they give you a clear map, like y'all did to Star Wars. But that's another show. But
there's a
what's
sorry, go
there.
ahead.
I mean, stick to what's there. It's there. You don't need to ruin it. We don't need your interpretations. You can make it. You can slide in your interpretation, but we don't need your overall interpretation. Just like what I did to Superman and Batman. That was just so horrible. Wonder Woman could have killed Doomsday right then and there. But anyway, stop it. That we just need y'all to stop it. In the year 2025, don't do it no more. No mas.
Well, you know it is. Every movie has a storyboard that they do. Filming all the shots. A comic book is essentially a 40-page storyboard. So if you're gonna do if you're gonna do Civil War, all right, take the Civil War issue 1 and just film that. Just do that. Don't make it your own. I don't need you to make it your own. Make your own thing and make that your own. Don't take something I love.
Now,
and
quick question.
say,
Now, when you're
let me
talking,
put my spin on this.
when you're talking about the Civil War, are you talking about how all the metahumans within that comic had to reveal their identities to the world?
Well, that was I understand how they had to take they had to make it fit within the storyline they were doing, but that's what
Right.
they did in Civil War, was that it was the Superhero Registration Act instead of the Sokovia Accords.
Right. Okay. That's the Civil War you're talking about. Because
Yeah.
they also did a version with the Kingpin. Kingpin was the either the mayor or the president. I think he was the mayor of New York. He ended up becoming the mayor of New York. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called the
That's
the Devil's Reign.
Devil's Reign.
The Devil's Reign, yeah. Like it's a similar story line where he had to force the mutants to register the Mutant Register Act in order for them to be able to, play as a superhero, quote unquote, within the city of New York. But you got that, and then he had his registered mutants along with the Thunderbolts. Now, rumor is Marvel trying to make something like that, like with the Kingpin and the Thunderbolts and all that. I think that's going to be kind of interesting, man. Know what I mean? I think it'll be dope if they did that. But yo, finish what you were about to say, because I was just asking a question about that. Know what I mean?
No, I mean, my only point was that, like, the storyboard is there for you. One of the best things about, actually, one of the only good things about the Hulk 2003 movie was the fact that they made it look like comic book panels. Sin City did that too. They made it look like a comic book. There's no reason that shouldn't be the blueprint. Now, I mean, obviously, write it better and act it better, but there's no reason that shouldn't be the blueprint for all comic book movies that you do. It's written out for you right there. Why I don't need, you don't need to put your fingerprints on it. You don't need to put your spin on it. Like, as a director, like, don't use this to make your mark in the, the creative world. Like, I don't need to know this is a Tim Burton movie or a Jordan Peele movie or a Patty Jenkins movie. I just want to know this is a, fill in the character here movie, and I'll recognize it. I don't want it to be your take on the character necessarily.
Yeah, we're tired of it.
But
We're so over it. We're tired of it, and I'm grateful that we're now seeing more superhero movies. And I just want to give a shout out to two people right now. Shout out to all the English teachers who told us that comic books are worthless, but outdid all your New York Times bestsellers. Shout out to them. And I know you stand at the old folks home and you're reading comics right now. So good luck with your life. And also,
just in defense, my wife is an English teacher, but she fully supports the kids reading graphic novels and comics. Mostly because it comes from my influence.
If you know why, because here it is.
Hey, yo,
We-
shout out to shout out to Sophisticated Jerk for the $10 super chat, man. Yo, we appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you, man. You need to pull up, man. We got to expound on these comics, man.
Yeah, that ain't it. Over here,
And you know, like,
I don't
here's
blame
the
him,
thing,
bro.
like we dream in pictures. You guys write text and emojis. Comics are not stupid. They're not going nowhere, ladies. You understand? We make the movies. We make it popular. I need y'all to calm down and pick your hero. Understand there's a difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. Go read some books, right? And if you're not into the books, that's fine. We have superhero shows that did great and they stood alone, like Jessica Jones.
That was a good one.
Right.
I can't hold you. Jessica Jones show was good, man. I watched all them episodes, man. Like I bench watched it. I'm like, yo, this show's mad good. Word is born.
She-Hulk, not so good. She-Hulk needs to be in another universe. She's not part of 616. I don't know what that stuff was. That got to go.
That's another thing about movies. They need to actually start letting you know like what universe we're talking on. So I'm so sick and tired of that too. It's
But
like
that's DC. DC does that all the time. We got another interpretation of
both
Batman.
of them do it both all the time.
But they
You
always
don't
do
know
that. We
which
got
one
another
you getting.
interpretation of Superman.
Hey,
Okay,
I forgot, yo. Stan is a super DC hater, man. So don't mind him, man. You
Hate
can't
all
Oh,
you
I'm
want.
a-
Hate all
Just-
you want, goddamn.
Just so you know, see now I thought we were gonna be friends, but I'm a DC apologist all the way. I will
You
defend
can apologize
DC
for
to the
them.
death.
Apologize for them. Apologize.
Bro,
Because you know
you
what?
gotta apologize
Get
for
outta
it.
here.
They need to
DC
apologize.
is
They need to get
so
their TV skills
disrespectful.
up.
DC is so disrespectful. You have
Oh,
freaking
no.
Wonder Woman. How dare you allow Xena to beat Wonder Woman? Then you have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. How dare you not put Wonder Woman out then? How dare you? You just sat on that Wonder Woman property and did jack shit for 25 years while people are learning how to do Wicca and Wiccan because of charm, because your lazy ass, they want to put no Cersei out there. You guys are horrible. You
Okay,
have
but
Wonder Woman.
would you have
And then
wanted?
you came out Wonder Woman 2. Hold on, gotta go to Wonder Woman 2. What people did not understand, because if y'all understand Greek mythology, which is not your fault, because DC did a bad job, because DC always come out with another damn Batman movie, another damn Batman property, another motherfucking.
You know why? Because Batman's too strong. Batman's too strong. God damn it, he's too
Yo, hold
strong.
on. Yo, Stan, I gotta say
Superman
this.
and Lois. When was done with Superman and
Stan,
Lois?
let me
take
say
another
this.
Superman
Let me say
movie,
this
right?
real quick.
Yeah.
I
DC
think we
make
struck
good
a nerve
animated
here.
films,
Jesus.
man. Don't hate on
Which
the
they can't
animated
beat,
films.
which Marvel can't beat most of the times.
DC, you know what DC stands for?
Would you have wanted a Wonder Woman movie in the 90s though? I wouldn't.
We did have a Wonder Woman movie, and that was only a cartoon. And guess what? It was boring.
Wait,
And
in the
now- yeah,
who
they
would
did.
be able to play her? In
Hold
the
on. Not the new one we got out now, down.
Ooh,
The latest Wonder Woman animated film was pretty good.
it was horrible. It's the same thing.
Oh,
Look,
nah, man. Come on, man.
No. You cannot. come out with
You
Justice
just
League.
hating now.
Hey, yo, Stan,
No,
look,
I'm not
look,
hating.
Stan, be by my channel, boy. The moment I start this shit,
I'm going to say it right now. Bookmark this right now. DC, you going to pay. If she's part of the Trinity, you had a long time to go ahead and put a Wonder Woman somewhere with the Amazons. You guys got really lazy. You let Xena come out with a multiple Amazons and beat y'all ass and made her a demigod. Freaking She-Ra comes out 2 times and beat y'all. Y'all guys start looking at Wonder Woman property and treat her with some damn respect. Wonder Woman Day was last week. Somewhere last week.
You know what? They
You
technically
gotta do some respect. Apologize for
Think
that.
about it. Look,
Apologize.
this is the closest we ever got to a Wonder Woman in movies. Look what that tells you. Who could have played her back then?
Yeah,
Put up
you
in
got
there.
Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba and Dark Angel was Wonder Woman. Jessica Alba was the one that started. What's that look that everybody talk about?
This guy.
Those people don't know they black or they white, they Mexican or not. She's one of those. What they call those people?
Where they're racially ambiguous a little
There
bit.
you go. That's what Wonder Woman was.
Oh my
But
god.
no, y'all ain't do nothing. Y'all came with another Batman something. Y'all come with another Superman something. Again, we got Superman and Lois. Y'all close that.
part of that reason is for most of the 80s and 90s, and I'm not hating. Listen, I knew plenty of women that enjoyed comics and superheroes, but the way that like studios viewed it was that this was a boy thing, this was a male thing, and how many men are gonna go see a Wonder Woman movie as
All of
opposed
us.
to going to see Batman and Superman? Now, granted, most of the geeks, we would have gone to see a Wonder Woman movie because it's Wonder Woman, but from their view, it wasn't gonna work. Is my thought on that. Now, because they had things like Xena and Buffy, I feel like they should have, looked at the viewership of those. And I mean, as you know, but Buffy is my favorite TV show, so I get it.
I mean, come on.
But I feel like
we
that's
all
what
see
they were.
Charm
That's
and
how they
all
were
that.
looking at it.
Yo, let me shout out the super chat real quick. Yo, sponsor for today is the Sophisticated Jerk with the $5 super chat. He says, news flash, English teachers are going to jump Stan as soon as he gets off.
Come on.
Yo, salute to you, Sophisticated Jerk.
They taking all y'all novels and making them to graphic novels. What you thought about that, English teachers? Because guess what? Y'all ain't teach people how to read, no write. And it's showing. Because look what we're dealing with now.
Oh,
All right.
Lord.
You are so
But look.
hostile to teachers, to DC, to Wonder Woman. My
But
God.
look, one thing I will say is that
because there's something. We're going to go see Wonder Woman because we saw titties. That's why I was watching Linda Carter all them years on repeat. So that's why She-Hulk, that's why we're disappointed in She-Hulk. Because She-Hulk was basically porn when we was growing up.
Listen, all right.
It's true. We're not going to deny She-Hulk was porn. I couldn't bring no She-Hulk home. That was
I couldn't bring home any comic with women on the cover in the 90s.
No, She-Hulk was not no any woman. We all know what She-Hulk covers were.
Lord have mercy.
It set us up for Playboy and Penthouse.
Oh my God, this man right here.
And that's why we're disappointed in that She-Hulk we got on Disney Plus. We're like, what is
I
this
wasn't
bullshit?
disappointed. Well, wait a minute.
Not our universe. So please take this away. So
here's why that was disappointing. On the podcast that I do, we talked about Werewolf by Night and how that was a perfect 45-minute introduction to a character. All of those Disney Plus shows, that's exactly what they should have been. A 45-minute single episode. Here's an introduction to the characters. You'll see them in the future in the movies. Then I feel like we wouldn't have hated She-Hulk as much. We wouldn't have hated Ms. Marvel as much because it would have been just an introduction. Maybe it would have been forgettable, but I don't know that it would have been bad as sitting through 8 episodes of it.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let me throw a little pushback.
I kind of agree, man. They should have
we got to
worked
think about
on
Miss Marvel though, because Miss Marvel was out of space. There wasn't much introduction to that, especially if she had no memory and all that. So you got to think about that part a little bit.
No, I'm just throwing that out there as one of the
But I mean, as far as
titles, I think none of them needed to be 8-10 episode long shows.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying like when you're talking about from the movie standpoint, we all knew we wasn't gonna like get that like, ooh, I'm this person, this happened to me, such like maybe that because that vast thing that they gave you was just vast. It's like it wasn't really all that.
The problem with Miss Marvel and She-Hulk was this, and we're gonna just call it out and flush it out. We are generation. We are male feminists. We grew up under feminism, and to sit down and tell Hulk, I'm more angry than you. I'm just only going. That right there was a blow to all men. Number one. Then you put on Miss Marvel.
I have so much to say about that, but yes.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, and it's like these anti-man stuff. Like, yo. We grew up at the same time with y'all. Where this coming from? Because this is strange to me. When I was growing up, we was like Mr. Mom and 9 to 5, and all our parents work, and we were like all the magazines that there's now defunct was like you can do more than just be a mother, right? We got that's men, right? Don't do this to your wife. Let her work. Don't let her be a mother. You can always adopt. So the messages we got for boys growing up, give us some credit because we grew up as feminists. you did not go through this alone.
Look at the look at the shows we had back then that we just talked about. Xena, Buffy. These were like strong women that I'm like, I want to be with a woman like that. I want, if I have daughters one day, I want them to be, to be like that. Like these are
how many seasons did Buffy have? Like
7 seasons, 8 seasons of Charm.
It felt like 100 seasons, man.
Charm had 8 seasons? I thought Charm had 10. Okay.
No, Charm had 8. Buffy has 7. Keep in mind, the old way of doing television was up to 21, 22 episodes. Not like these new ones that's coming out at 10 episodes, and y'all still can't write a damn thing for them 10 episodes. Y'all are just garbage. Ooh. That's all you have to do, 10 episodes. Just 10.
I ain't gonna hold you, man. That Buffy joint was alright.
No, Buffy is not alright.
Xena was alright too.
Buffy the movie is a classic cult. I can do anything. Can you clap? That was off the hook, and he only had one arm.
Yeah.
Right? And then you had a TV show.
That TV show created its own language. That's one of the best TV shows ever written. I don't want to hear Buffy's all right. Come on.
No, and for everybody out there that's listening to us, you can watch Buffy for free on Tubi. You can watch
Gotham. Who was your favorite character within that show? Within Buffy? Mine was the old guy that was her mentor. Like
Giles.
Giles was old because we're Giles' age now.
Giles, yeah.
Giles was like 30 in the first season. I'm like, I outrank Giles now.
That was the sidekick, right? They always be with Buffy most of the time in the show.
Xander.
Well, yo, hold on. Let's not sell him out short. When it came to Giles, he knew how to kill every monster, man. Like he had all the books. He was giving them the breakdown on how to defeat certain,
But here's the thing about Buffy that made Buffy so different and better, right? Unlike all the Slayers, she has something that a lot of people forgotten. One, she wasn't Mary Sue, and 2, she had a team. And that's what made her survive longer. That's what made them stronger. Because then when you look at Buffy, right? What spin off from Buffy, right? 2 vampires with a soul. That never happened. You had the most powerful witch in the world, Willow.
Well, hold on. She also had a goon that was a vampire too. His name was Angel.
But he had a soul, and then you had the other guy who had a soul.
Right, yeah.
Right, and then she has a little sister that's a key to different dimensions. Cordelia became a god. That never happened to any Slayer because and also there was 2 Slayers at the same time because of her. Because of Xander, this CPR, and he didn't get sued from doing it. Now, shout out to the people who got saved from people's CPR, and how dare you go ahead and sue them? They saved your life, now you suing them. I just want y'all to think about that. So,
this guy.
Look at that. You had the spinoff, you had Faith, right? And then you had the whole team of Slayers after that because Willow got I forget what was that thing?
The side.
The side. And you look at that.
All the potentials became full-blown Slayers, so.
And then they also tied into Firefly later.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, you see how the multiverse works out? Now, when we bring this back to the multiverse with Wanda, right? How can she bring about mutants? Bring that in.
We lost Wally.
Now Wally's coming back.
How is she? Who do they say was the first mutant? That Miss Kamala Khan is the first mutant now, right?
I thought it was Celine.
Or no, Namor. Namor is supposed to be the first mutant mentioned in the MCU.
Yeah.
In Wakanda Forever.
Yes, but then when you look at Agatha, right? Agatha, I wonder what she's a mutant because her ability was to siphon energy from other witches.
There's a little bit of Rogue in there, yeah.
Yeah. But unlike Rogue, she doesn't keep the power and then use it.
She has the ability to keep the power, but when she keeps the the memories and power from different mutants, like she'll kill that individual mutant. Just like that's where her her invulnerability comes from in flying too. How she take flight because she bodied a mutant for that particular ability. Know what I mean,
Right. She absorbed too much of it.
But she took that from Miss Marvel. So then what's it gonna happen with Miss Marvel?
Yeah, that's what she bodied. Yeah.
Well, she
It's
took
funny
it. She
because
took
she
it. She
didn't
took it
take all
from
the
Carol.
powers.
She
She
took
took
it
the
from
fight.
Carol Danvers. So she took it from Captain. Well,
There's
the
so many
movie wise, she took it from Captain Marvel. She would have to take it from Captain Marvel, not Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
Yes.
Right, because you got to remember, Rogue used to roll with the Brotherhood, and that was Magneto's camp. You had the dude Quake, Mystique, the fat dude,
Blob.
I forgot his name. Yeah, Blob,
Blob.
and Quicksilver. That was the actual Brotherhood, and they will, terrorize other groups of mutants, and do their thing for the bidding of Magneto. Know what I mean?
Yeah. But wait, for her, so I'm looking at Wanda, and if she already met Xavier, right? And he entered her mind, I'm wondering, like, did he plant a seed for her to later on ask for mutants? Because one thing, because like he's a telepath, so he could leave a little message inside of her later on. One thing about her, like, she always feels guilty and she's always crying. And I have to say this, a lot of times, all these crying, these tears, it just makes us all kind of cold-hearted. I need y'all to find some kind of joy in these movies and have a therapist moment so we could like grow with them. We need to grow. Because she's always crying. I need her to not cry no more. I need her to
Mostly all the telepaths have problems.
No, but Wanda, she been crying. She been crying because the bomb killed her parents. Understandable. Then your brother get killed by Voltron. Understandable.
Yo, hold on. The dude from
By
Hellfire Club.
Voltron. Listen, we're mixing universes now.
No. In the movies, right? When we're looking at Wanda.
No, but it's Ultron, not Voltron.
Oh,
Voltron
my bad.
is the Power Rangers ripoff.
My bad. Ultron, right? And then after that, then her boyfriend gets killed, and after that, she comes back. She's always crying and not able to process.
Well,
so I think
she's also got more of a reason to be angry than She-Hulk.
Yeah, but she never processed anything, right? She-Hulk, I understand she's not processing catcalls. I get it. But then when you go on looking for dates and you sleep with the first man that you meet, they only want you to be She-Hulk to bang you. I guess like a whole thing. But your body, your choice, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You gotta respect it.
I swear for God. You need Jesus.
But this leaves it open. Like, we need a Marvel MCU therapist to come in and help these people because she gotta grow. It's like she's unhinged. It's like
yeah. Go look back at the X-Men Evolution. You'll see why. Like literally, she was
like no more humans. She went from no more humans to no more mutants. Again, we do need an MCU therapist to come in to help people process the pain because
another freaking telepath helping another telepath.
Well, maybe not telepath, more like an empathic person. We don't need nobody
telepath.
Not the same thing.
It will be the same thing. Let's be real about it.
It's not the same thing. I feel.
Let me tell you why I say it will be the same thing. Because the thing is this: even when you're an empath, you still have to have understandings of those emotions. AKA, you still have to have some type of telepathy.
And that's why we need a therapist, empath, because she needs help. She gonna come back, and what's the next thing we gonna know? More mutants. Because I can see it now. Tommy's gone somewhere to some boot camp. And here's another thing too with that whole thing. They did a good job of it, right? Her and her brother were put in a facility that made them have this power or whatever, right?
Right.
And I'm wondering, like, then we have Sword, right? I don't know if people understand like the difference where we're at now, right? Because you had SHIELD, which meant to protect the Earth. Now we got Sword, which we know Sword don't mean protection.
Well, not
right. Well,
it depends on what protection you're talking about.
To offensive.
Yes.
Because offense protection is still protection.
Huh? Say again, Wally?
I said offense protection is still protection. It all depends on who you're protecting against.
It's just aggressive protection.
Exactly.
Other they're gonna go out and start conquering the universe. I mean, since Earth is nothing but a Milky Way ghetto. Shout out to X-Men '97.
Oh, this guy, dog.
Oh, you got jokes.
Remember when this was about? Remember when this was about the Spider-Verse a minute ago?
Hey, we went somewhere way different now.
Yeah, we definitely got off topic, man.
Like, well, technically, we're in topic because he's talking about the Wanda side of it all now. But it's like,
Keep in mind, because Spider-Verse is hidden. Because Spider-Verse, America talked about it with Doctor Doom, the only Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange know about Spider-Man. Nobody else knows. So across all the universe, they don't know what a Spider-Man is yet. And so they're protected. I guess only protected because of Sony, the power of Sony, until Disney owns Sony too. Hopefully that'll happen soon. Because Sony, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all don't deserve to be around.
wait, why would Doctor Doom know?
I think he meant Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah. Well, only Doctor
Okay,
Strange.
this is why I say Doctor Doom knows. And this is what I was thinking about it. Now, have you guys watched Agatha All Along?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hated it.
Okay, I haven't
But yeah, I
yet.
watched it.
Yeah, when you have your show about Agatha, you and I, we need to talk.
Well,
Great.
yeah,
They did a great job. They did a great job. I'm going to say they did a
But
great
I
job.
have seen some things here and there. So yeah.
The thing about Jen, right? And they put out that she got her powers bind, right? I think 100 years ago. Two things I was thinking about. One, Hydra.
Yo, I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom.
Okay. You look at Hydra, right? That was around. Then two, I was thinking about Doctor Doom because he was into, the occult. Yeah, and remember like Mephisto, whatever his name is, because his mom got captured and he was trying to bring her back.
Well, see, that was one thing I was very interested in because when I found out that Agatha is technically the child of Mephisto, that was like, okay, actually I might watch this because now there's a connection that I'm interested in.
So I'm wondering, did he, because, everything is connected. Nothing's by chance in Marvel. If we don't get it at the end of any production, we have to go back and look during the production for clues.
Well, I'll say this, right? I can see your point with it because in some form of senses, right? Dr. Doom, aka, I forgot his name, but Dr. something, right?
Victor Doom.
Okay, Victor Doom. Yeah, Victor Doom. So we all know like Victor Doom because he had to when he got his powers, we all know like his powers became sorcery in a way, right? So we all know he has that some type of connection to sorcery because how can you end up like really having the magnitude of your own powers and then you have it at this stage of this mastery to the point where you literally trump card anybody in your wake. Like anyone come up, you trump card them in any way, shape, or form. And that's crazy to have. Which just looking at that is just like, yeah, I can see how you're playing it because it goes a long way with it. But
then also like why would they doing that?
It's really a trick to it though, because my thing is like, well, how would he end up getting that knowledge unless someone fed him that knowledge of this happening, but that was erased? Because someone had to save that memory without being, without getting that spell wiped from their brain cells. So that's why I'm like, for someone to be there, the only one that would know that, it would be very weird because now you got to sit here and say to yourself, well, was this person within the ripples? And when they saw the ripples happen, they seen what happened and they fed him that information to let him know? Or like now, because there's parts of that are very strange. Because even those the ones that don't know who he is, I can say this, like let's say hypothetically, right? Let's say they saw the situation, they don't know who the kid is, so they can't be mind wiped by it, but they know why the spell was cast because of that person that they don't really know too much about. But they end up finding out who it is because they end up watching him, they end up seeing why he was involved with this person, right? aka Doctor Strange, why he was involved with this person and why he cast the spell, because they're more likely going to be someone magical. They're going to be like, why did he cast the spell on this world?
But they gave us that hint in WandaVision, like why a sigil was sealed on Billy, right? He wasn't ready, and it was cast. So like the same thing happened to Spider-Man, but Spider-Man, Doctor Strange is not like a witch.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
But
he did a whole cube thing, and you
well,
know,
yeah, but my only, because my only thing is, because this is my own thing, right? Because, well, for me, because let me just be clear, right? I haven't watched WandaVision. I haven't watched.
Oh, well, fix your life first of all.
Well, hey, yeah. Guess what? My life is in very much a lot of places right now, so that's why. But
what's her name?
you know what? Yes.
Yeah, what
You know,
what's
no,
her name is why
season
isn't
right
she
now.
watching it with you?
No. That is not the reason. Other parts of my life, I got other things to worry about. But no. But yeah, look, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I've heard and seen some things here and there, but the only thing that I know for sure as a fact is when they connect that TV show to the actual movie of Doctor Strange with Spider-Man, and then that whole ripple effect going, like, that whole scenario going on, like, well, not Spider-Man, I mean just Doctor Strange, connecting that whole scenario together, right? Which was a small part of just trying to connect the universes together and all that. But so seeing that part, I could understand that, and then of course now this is where the Agatha comes into play from that scenery and everything, because of course the young boy, we all know who that is, and yada yada. But it's just very much a lot, because that's why I'm like, when they sit here and say technically she killed off herself, I'm like, look, I always say this: if you don't have the body, they didn't did nothing, and just because she stoned herself, that don't mean shit.
Yeah, because here's something, right? The person that broke the spell for Agatha wasn't Wanda's death. It was her son. And if you understand, of 8 years of charm, no thanks to DC to help us understand
this guy's still talking. This guy's still talking mess. Let's be real. At least our magicians have been out in the open longer than yours. Okay, let's make that.
I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say it, but you know what I'm saying? You can watch Charm for free on Pluto TV for you guys that need to brush up.
This guy right here. Hey, okay, keep talking all you want to, okay? Our magicians have been out longer.
If you learn, right, like her death did not free Agatha. It was Billy that did it. So he is connected to Wanda. He's able to break it. It's like he's not like an outside witch. It's blood relation,
Warlock
whatever,
in
right?
this case, because he's a male.
Say it again?
Well, technically Warlock since he's a male, but yeah.
Yeah, there's still some stuff about
my technical standpoint, that's what they would call him. Like if you're a male, you'd be called a warlock more than you'd be called a witch.
Yeah.
I mean that is the proper term to call a male that practiced a mystic arts a warlock. Yeah, that's correct.
Depends on
he's still in training though. That's the only difference. He's still in training. He's not like top level.
But unless you go to DC and you have Clarion the Witch Boy.
See.
Well,
I mean, it's just kind of
yeah. That's just yeah. Like
again.
Right.
Granted, yeah. If you could call him a sorceress at the same time, you know, sorcerer.
Well, sorcery, wizardry, all of it's a little bit different. But I always say that any of my anti-magic people out there, they're gonna throw the bottle of olive oil and holy water. Look, witchcraft is nothing but science. Chill out. There's properties and laws. Just please learn them, right? There's no besides the Bible.
Let's
but
focus
all
on
that
the
to say, I want to give a shout out to DC. I'm gonna DC shout out with Constantine. Thank you so much for Constantine. Thank you so much for Doctor.
Now you put some respect on it now. Okay, now you put some respect on it.
A little bit, just a little.
Hold on, yo.
Just a little.
Constantine. Wait a minute now. Constantine is technically a priest that practiced exhortation. You know what I mean?
Constantine is not a priest.
Well, from the film, Constantine.
Okay, he was a priest and he was Haitian then. He probably from Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Yeah, and then they're making a sequel of Constantine.
Oh Lord,
that's why a lot of people left the Catholic Church and became Pentecostal. So, allegedly. So.
This guy's saying, oh my God.
Yo,
we need a moderator in here to keep this man under control.
I know.
he has too much of this going on. Trust me. He already looked at this list and said to himself, I got something for this. I got something for this. I got something for this. Oh, I got something for all of this.
But look, we do have to put respect on the magic because it is science. It's an actual science. They call it the science of coincidence. And also it opened the floodgates for other science majors to be developed. Put respect on chemistry, alchemy, the whole thing, right?
Right. I mean, a lot of people is not really into alchemy like that. So let's just.
Are we serious?
Let's bring it down a bit.
But they doing manifestation. You know what? Today I'm gonna be a singer. I'm just gonna put an album out on Spotify. Right. You just manifest that stuff. Okay. Yeah, y'all doing alchemy big time because your voice ain't shit until we got auto tunes. Voila, alchemy. So
okay. Yo, let's pivot on the low key Disney.
Oh, yeah, low key. No,
show. Like, I want to get your opinion on that show, man. Like, what's your thoughts on the second season on how he had to become the actual temporal loom? I want to get your thoughts on that. Talk to me.
I mean, he needed the redemption story. I just feel like it was an unnecessary Marvel property. It was just to capitalize on a character. It wasn't for the purpose of story. It was to capitalize financially on a character that people ended up loving because they killed him in the movies. So I feel like they were forced to write a story that was a little convoluted just to keep the character around to appease fans. But for me, it was fine, but it was unnecessary to exist. It just did.
Yeah, it's like it just sucks. Go ahead, Wally.
No, I was just gonna say real quick. I mean, it was slightly unnecessary because there's still characters within the mythology that we still haven't even seen yet. Like, come on, like we haven't. Have they even unleashed the dog? As far as I can remember, but I don't think so.
Nah, not yet. Nah.
Okay. I'm gonna stand with Loki because Loki is like Wonder Woman #2. Bring your napkins, your hankies, you're gonna cry. Because towards the end, he actually got what he always wanted. He wanted to be crowned king and got his throne. And that right there was like so poetic.
No,
it was poetic at the end.
I mean,
he had a heart.
Look, I'm not saying that they didn't do what they could with developing the storm. I'm just saying that when they do that, it makes for me it makes his death in Infinity War meaningless.
No, it's still meaningful. It still had a purpose, right?
It had a purpose, but you lose the impact. I felt that way about Phil Coulson in the first Avengers movie, because then it was like, ooh, he didn't really die. They made like, a robot of him, or they made another variant of him for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he didn't really die. To me, you lose the impact of the death when it's just, oh, we shouldn't have killed. Then if you're going to make a show about him, you shouldn't have killed him.
For a reason. He deceives people, aka he deceives people with his death.
Wow. Well, here's something, right? It left us open. Remember when they went back in time? It became a different Loki, and then we got introduced to this variant, and we found out about the multiverse and all that other stuff, right? And then
you're still on the show, right?
Yeah.
The agents, they were also variants too. That's why he kind of had to take up the mantle of becoming the temporal loom himself. You know what I mean?
Yes, but understand like how they fall into that place, right? The whole thing of the timeline, that little weird clock talking to us and everything else, right? And then you had the different, like how things had to happen and whatnot, right? Which was also weird because when you look at Ant-Man 3, I don't know what that hot mess was, and Kang was there.
Don't start, bruh. Don't start. I'm still pissed off about that bullshit.
Because I was wondering what kind of Earth is this one or where this falls in, right? But all that to say, right? When we think about superheroes, their death, and also different timelines and different variants, I think that left us like hopeful for how we gonna bring other people back. How do we bring back the I forgot her name. The spy.
Black
She
Widow.
died for the Life
Black
Stone.
Widow.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Can we bring her back? Right. So you look at stuff like that because I'm wondering.
Okay, I must miss something.
No, because she did die. She sacrificed herself to get the stone. But then you look at.
Oh,
Yeah, she sacrificed herself to get the Soul Stone.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you look at and I forgot her name. She's green.
Within
Gamora.
the
Yes.
hold on.
And then she
Within
came
the
back from a
movie,
different
not
timeline.
canon comic story. Nah, that's the movie version. But yeah,
Yeah, we're not on the comic books. We're going to the movies, guys. MCU, right? It leaves us like an understanding. Like here is like how this stuff happens. There is this agency that goes around cleaning up things, and then within the agency, there's other agencies of different worlds try to clean stuff up. The thing about Loki that was so paramount is like for the longest time he always seen himself as a king, and he wanted to rule a kingdom, and he finally got his wish. But he's alone in doing it. And I'm like, it was definitely artistic and poetic. The same way that Wonder Woman 2 was. She got to fly after she let go of Steve Trevor. But that's how things of the gods, right? They go through trials and tribulations and gain new gifts. Be careful what you wish for, people. Learn from that. And the year 2025, no new you, no new me. Find out what your old self is and fix that. Don't do nothing else like that because you might end up like Wonder Man and lose some people. But
Lord have mercy, this guy.
But Loki, but I'm wondering, right? It's time with Loki because if Loki's holding everything together, and Wanda is going around doing all this crazy stuff, because what's that thing she do? She's able to like put herself in different bodies without messing up the whatever.
Telekinesis, something like that. I don't know.
But that's how she was going to different bodies.
The proper terminology for that is astral projection.
Okay,
but we could go with telepathy. You know what I mean?
All right, and then you look at America again. I said like there's no other variant like America. So I'm wondering, like, because of these two that can cause havoc and doing things, will Loki come out of this? Because his mission in life is making sure that everybody gets a chance to live and holding all the variants together and they have their own world and protect it. But then when you're looking at this stuff that's going on, does he come back?
You know what? Hold on. See, I'm glad you actually mentioned that because see,
he has to come back because they got to make a sequel of Loki. You know what I mean, for the next season.
Here's the thing, though. Here's my only thing about that. Here's the trick part to it. Because here's my thing, right? Because as far as him being the tree and now holding the universes and everything, making that grandiose sacrifice. Because this is the thing that I'm sort of have an issue with because we do too much of these universes and like hitting the whole alignment. Because they did the same thing with the Spider-Verse, aligning everything and picking and connecting the dots to everything. It's like, how much time we're gonna keep seeing this and connecting dots? Like, stop this. Just use one. Just use one, or at least connect the other one with the other one to make it make sense. Stop. But because if you actually go back to if you watch the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Funny thing. Now you remember that one part when Deadpool gets to he goes with the agency in that time rip and they call him up. They're like, hey, we need your help, and you gotta go find the other Wolverine because this was about to be clipped off. Well, I don't think so. He's really holding it up because if it's being clipped off, like if certain parts of the universe or AKA certain parts of the branch is being snipped, then it's like, well, how much is he really holding up? Really, really. Depending on if that's connected. Because that's pick and choose, because we don't know yet.
So I think the reason for that is up until Endgame and Infinity War, Marvel had a big umbrella plan. They had a story. They knew what forgive the pun, they knew what the end game was. Mm-hmm. After that, I feel like they were just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And seeing a lot of their projects failing, people hating on the TV shows, people not liking the majority of the movies that came out since then. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's not a lot of cohesion. And that Loki says they're doing this, but then Deadpool and Wolverine, we want to bring them into the MCU because people love them. and we're going to do it like this, even though it kind of contradicts what they're doing in Loki, which is kind of contradicting what they did in the Multiverse of Madness, which is kind of contradicting the stuff they did in Spider-Man No Way Home. And so it's like you're all like flirting with the right idea, but none of them are interconnecting correctly because they keep having to pivot what they're doing. And now, with the stuff that came out about Jonathan Majors, the accusations he has, so now we're pivoting away from Kang. Now it's like, okay, Kang is going to be the next Thanos. Oops, no, because the actor is a bad dude. So now we're going to pivot again. And all the movies that had to do with Kang, like Loki season 1 and 2, Quantumania, mean nothing now because it was like, man, this giant threat. Oh, wait, what threat? Oh, never mind. Oh, it's Doctor Doom now. Because we need to bringing Robert Downey Jr. in to do Doctor Doom. That's a panic move.
See, and this is this is the part where I was like sort of trying to like see like putting like two things and make it make sense, because if you're saying that Loki's holding the universe, but then now we got another movie from another timeline and a whole nother cohesion saying, well, part of the universe is falling off because certain heroes within certain universes that are key components have been dead and gone. So now this world is going to fall off because this person ain't here no more. See, this is my whole point. Yeah. I think it's between you holding the universe, then you showing another universe and how it connects, and then you now saying there's variant universes that are going to fall off and die because this particular hero is gone and not doing shit and he's dead. And so it's like this whole world is going to go to shit. Now it's like, okay, when are y'all just going to let's just scrap everything, right? And just go straight to what was the movie I was thinking about already?
Not another Spider-Man.
No. I'm talking about when they all get into that rift. I forgot already.
Battle World, Secret War.
Secret War, yeah. When they get to Secret War and just restart the whole thing. Because it's pointless at this point.
If you want to restart the whole thing, then you can be like a DC universe again, because we always restart.
Well, of course, but my thing is the only small thing.
I mean, that's what comics do. Comics restart the universes all the time.
No, yeah, DC does it every year.
Here's my only thing, though, right? My only thing to it is, at least when they do Secret Wars, right? At least there is not a huge reset, but a decent reset to where it's like, okay, we get bits and pieces of certain people, and it's like, okay, then boom, here it is. Like, and then let's just do something.
The only thing, like what Chris said, they threw so much stuff at us. And because we're so used to Marvel actually connecting the dots, right? When we look at the aliens with the Skrulls, that was a big disappointment. That was
I heard about that one.
9 episodes of like that was nothing.
I think you could tell some of those films and TV shows have been rushed just for the sake of putting something out there to gain revenue. You know what I mean? That's all it was.
That doesn't make sense because we had Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was like a plug-in for, I think it was like...
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a good show, but they totally lost me from season 7, bro. I'm like, yeah, this shit don't even make sense no more.
I'm gonna be honest.
You made it as far as season 7. I commend you.
I'm a fan. I know. I'm a fan.
At least you got there. I only touched at least the first season, and it's like after that, I'm like, okay, I'm lost. Like, okay,
look,
the first season was kind of slow, but it started.
I don't have no problem with it being slow.
Hold on. Let me finish.
The other part.
It started picking up on season 2, 3, and 4. You know what I mean? Like season 3 was based on a Ghost Rider. They had Ghost Rider as a Mexican, which I thought that was dope. Like his backstory was pretty interesting, and I like the way that they flipped his ethnic background. You know what I mean? Because his style it was Ghost Rider.
You know what's also in that season they used in Agatha and WandaVision? The Black Hole. The Dark Hole was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But it was a different version and used for a different purpose. So it wasn't even the same Darkhold.
Well, they said that they use that because Darkhold, like, it goes to where it needs to go to. It picks who it needs to pick for a purpose that's not, we don't know. Darkhold is his own thing, right?
Yeah, they kind of messed up this. They're messing up with some of these characters. Like, for example, Agatha's mother, the goddess of death, they kind of downplayed her. You know what I mean? Because the Shorty's mother, the chick's mother, the witch mother.
Yeah, but
I mean, downplayed
Yeah.
it. Remember, we're starting from who Agatha is in a sense, and then trying to work her way up back to magic. So,
Well, yo, let me. I'm gonna get to the point. Like, the canon version of Marvel Comics, that was a chick that Thanos was trying to get with. You know what I mean? Because Thanos was sipping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the biggest simp in the galaxy, and that's why he bodied half of the life beings in the universe, because for the sake of bagging the gods of death, man. You know what I mean? And I thought that was
that's not the reason. Yeah, but they switched it on this one. They made it more poetic in this one, though.
Right. The movie they revised the story, which I think they did an amazing job. Because within the comics, Thanos was really a sucker. You know what I mean? No, word is born. He was a simp. Like, he killed everybody for the sake of bagging a chick, and he never got the chick. The goddess of death never felt Thanos like that anyway. Know what I mean?
Well, of course. Why would she? She gonna live past him anyways.
But I mean, that's just my thoughts on that. You know what I mean? So they kind of downplaying some of these characters, man. You know what I mean? Like,
but keep in mind, but Death is not. She's multi, like, it's Death. She's all through the universe. She could be everywhere, anytime, and always present.
Right, but in the show, like, she's not that powerful. You don't get the projection that she's that powerful. You know what I mean?
Well, of course not. You gotta think about it. Like, you gotta think about the scenery. The scenery of it all. They're not positioning her to be that powerful because she don't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my. I'm just giving my two.
That's why. This is why. Honestly, I haven't watched it yet because I know that's a different tip. Like, I already know, like, through Agatha, that's a different tip. That's like a workup thing. You got to do.
Okay, remember I said that science is magic or magic is science, right? And I'm gonna go to X-Men property.
No, my bad. In the show, she wasn't the mother. She was her lover. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
it was different.
They changing it up a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also, like, she was and they say she was the baby daddy of Nicholas or whatever, because Nicholas is a puppet, There was no man needed. That's why his last name is Scratch. Right? But I just want to say this, right? Just keep in mind, right? When we look at, like, I'm glad they're doing this, because to bring mutants in, because keep in mind, we're just also we've forgotten about the Inhumans. And that came from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yo, hold on. Yo. Let me say this. Mm-hmm. Now, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would transition into the Inhumans, that would be dope. I think they need to make a film about that, because you gotta understand, with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they broke down the whole Terrigen Mist. You know what I mean? Which allow the Inhumans to cultivate and develop their they meta-human abilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then they did Inhumans, and it was horrendous.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was trash. Yeah, I'm not even gonna front, but I watched it because I'm just a fan. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, I watch everything because I love that it exists, but I'm not such a fan that I can't. I'm not such a blind fan that I can't say when it's pretty bad.
Cute.
Yeah, it was straight up garbage. Yeah, I know, but as a fan, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you still watch it. Be like, you know what I mean? Because when I'm watching these garbage shows, in my mind, I'm thinking about how I could make it better. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just my thing. You know what I mean?
So that's what makes me more mad, because like we were talking about when we were talking about Madam Web. It's like, talk to us. We have a history with these things. We've read all the things. We know the stuff. We've talked about what a movie about this character or a show about this character would look like, and you're not using your most valuable resource, which are
fan base.
us.
Yes, yes. And this one I'm gonna go back to, right? When we go, I'm gonna go with the X-Men, right? And I'm looking at and how Agatha could have played this along, right? Who Agatha was working with to bind witches' powers for whatever science being or whatever. I was thinking, okay, we got Dr. Van Doom, we got what's that? Hydra, right? The third person I was thinking of was Sinister. Because
me and Wale, we talked about that on my last stream. We was breaking down the origin canon story of Mr. Sinister. And I was telling him like, yo, they need to make a film based on him, man. I think it'll be dope.
Nah, the thing is, I have no problem with them making a film on Sinister. The thing is, as tough as Sinister is, I don't want that to be fucked up though. At the same notion.
But here's the thing about Sinister, right? For him to make a copy of Jean Grey.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
She could not embody the Phoenix Force. That's the one thing he could not copy. However, she became what? The Goblin Queen. Sinister was into also witchcraft. And that's all I was thinking, like, this would have been the perfect way of whoever this doctor was that binded.
Right, I mean,
it would have been perfect.
Hold on. Technically, Mr. Sinister is a world-renowned geneticist. Like, playing with the genes, that's his thing. I mean, and the whole purpose of him creating creating a clone for Jean Grey was to bait Scott Summers to make the perfect mutant baby for a vessel for the apocalypse. Because you got to understand, back in the the 13, 1400s, Mr. Sinister bumped into the apocalypse. So they already had like a scheme going on from out the gate. I mean,
again, magic is science. Magic is science. We're not talking about illusion, delusion, or anything like that. Again, the whole thing of studying and knowing how the world works, back then that was considered witchcraft. And we bring those people
magic is science we don't understand yet.
Or can't control. But even science, we can't control the ones we got now with these damn robots.
Well, my thing is, look, I could sit here and say this, right? We could sit here and say one key factor, because I could agree with Stan on one point, and that's this. Where did Sinister get the stuff that he got just to be able to make himself? Because let's be honest, for you to take a nice hold on. Because you gotta think about it. For him to be able to take a serum and make himself immortal beyond anything, beyond immortal, beyond ages, to the point that Xavier X, great grandpa, and now to this day and age, knows about this. That's literally unfathomable. So you had to be connected to somebody that gave you something, that gave you something that you gave just to get that. Because there's no way. There ain't no way. Especially back in the days, no way. There ain't no way. There has to be more than that. There has to be more than that.
So stop running away from magic, people. Just don't run away from it. Study it, learn it, and be okay with it. Just know it. Don't practice it.
Don't listen to Stan. Stan don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not.
I know what I'm talking about. You're not Constantine.
Completely.
You're not Constantine. Don't be doing no magic and trying to call demons and tell them to write your paper like the AI. Don't do it.
Look. But
the more you know, knowing is half the battle. G.I.
Yeah, I mean, people like they don't think about the majority of people in the States don't think about stuff like that, man.
But that's how they're gonna get God. That's how they're gonna get God.
Remember?
I'm not gonna say nothing. But look, with that said, because let's be honest, Sinister being immortal after a serum drink is literally impossible. Because that's literally, you may as well say that's the super serum right there, but hyped up beyond time.
Okay, you know what? And it's tied to sin, right? And it's tied to bringing the mutant in, right? When Jen helped that doctor and the doctor bind her, maybe because he did not want her to copy that and multiply it and sell it, and that's what he did. I'm wondering again, is this Sinister? Because Jen is a potion witch, and we say the word serum, like serum is completely science, which it is because it's based out of witchcraft. And then Again, just to bring in Sinister, because you got to bring in the mutants somehow into 616.
Well, even then, but do you have to bring in the mutants somehow? Yeah, but the thing is, here's the difference: mutants are born with those powers, not injected like freaking Captain America.
Well, that's not true. If you ask the Sentinels,
that's technically
if you ask the Sentinels, you're a mutant. They don't care. You transform. You gotta go. Because now you're gonna pass around this Captain America gene and make more mutants. Gone. The Sentinels, there's no more humans because humans are mutants, basically. Here's the bigger picture. If people would have asked themselves this, right? If they had a smart AI, maybe Franklin from the Fantastic Four would have go ahead, the computer himself, would have said this. When there's more mutants coming around, and if you look at Earth like the human body, and you're building white cells, the bigger question is what's coming here that mutants are being activated. You gotta, because don't kill the mutants, because there might be something big coming in, and that's why they're here.
That's why the Eternals wanted to get rid of mutants that possess the X gene, because the X gene, like technically every human has the X gene within the comics, but the thing that I guess something has to, I guess, activate that gene in order for them to become a mutant. I mean, so in a sense, you're kind of right, but you know, that's why the Eternals wanted to body all the mutants, because they possess the X gene. I mean,
remember when there was a list of things we were going to talk about?
Yeah, let's get back to that because we're going way far now.
But that's the whole thing. But no, this is good.
Yeah.
You know why this is good? Because this is probably what the writer room needs to look like when
for sure. That's for sure, because everyone, like, let's be honest, if you want to talk about the origins of like mutation, like how did the origins of mutants begin? There's a lot of it. But I think even then you could have touched back on X-Men Origins and we still would be like looking at it like, where do we start and where do we end? Because they definitely fucked that up.
But they can't ignore the Inhumans either. So that's something they have to look at.
And that's the other part.
Okay, we're going to pivot on the next subject matter. The next subject matter would be DC versus Marvel, and which company makes the other company look better. I mean, which company has a greater asset than the next? I mean, within the characters.
Basically meaning what do one does better than the other?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so let me start off.
DC tells better stories and does better animation. Marvel does better live action films, or did until after Endgame.
All right, so next for me, I would definitely agree. DC does better animated series. Let's just keep it real.
And animated films.
Let's keep it real. Animated series, they just do better.
And they're animated films too, I would say.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna get there, but let's just stay on that part, because animated films, literally, y'all can't say that no one can say Marvel does better animated films than DC. You just can't. Oh, please argue, because I'm telling you right now, I got a list ready for you. You guys got nothing than Batman Beyond. Y'all got none of the Batmans. All the Batmans clear y'all. Literally. Superman, that was the best Superman you ever get in lifetime history.
Marvel only has two,
and that's only Spider-Man.
Two animated movies that are good, and that's Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2.
Well, yeah, but
Spider-Verse and the sequel.
Yeah, as far as movies, but I'm talking about just TV show wise. Y'all main top
DC got that on smash. I can't even front, and I'm a Marvel fan. Know what I mean?
That's literally y'all main topper is Spider-Man as far as animated series. Y'all main topper. Now I will say though,
X-Men too. X-Men was good around
that. Oh, don't get me wrong. Yeah, X-Men Evolution was definitely nice too. And then 97 classic backwards. Yeah, that was also another one. But the other one, hold
on. But DC got the marathon on deck. Like, they are consistent with dope shows and animated films.
Yeah, they got the animation, but I'm saying like there's some characters. The only reason I didn't mention because I'll just report a comparison so far, because Batman's literally like top across the board. Spider-Man's like literally like I say like the extra component, like caveat to it. What else is there? Like Singo. Pretty much no Singo. Like later down the stretch in like the years, they did a Blade one, which is nice. I also know they did like the Iron Man series. You remember that one, the animated one, that nice clean cut one when they were facing the Mandarin with the rings? That was pretty solid. Other than that,
but look at how hard you have to think.
Yeah, and then
the
last one was pretty much the Avengers. After that, the X-Men Evolutions, the other X-Men TV shows, and then the classic ones, and then that's pretty much it.
They were fine, but DC, you got Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, Justice League Unlimited.
Teen Titans.
Stuff for all ages, because you got, for kids, you got stuff like the Green Lantern and Bat Wheels. For adults, you have the Harley Quinn show. You got, there's animated, what's it called? Young Justice, Teen Titans Go. All this stuff, like
Static Shock
has
animated
the
list
TV
keeps going on.
The list does keep going, because Static Shock was another classic one too.
Static Shock, that's another great one.
Batman Beyond, just love.
Then they kill the property because they can't produce the toy.
Not only Batman Beyond was mad good, but the storyline is dope too. Because when you get into Terry and all that, like Terry's a clone from Bruce Wayne. Y'all
right.
And the reason why they developed the clone of Bruce Wayne is because Bruce Wayne was old. He couldn't beat up niggas no more.
Yep. And because they were afraid if they don't have another Batman, they would be afraid of what would happen to the world as it is. So they made a clone. They got
honestly, they would never make that episode. They would never make that as a storyline today. You could never do that.
Yeah, that would be so tough. Yeah, that would be so tough.
Yeah,
but even DC even does live action TV better.
DC needs to consider to make a film like that. It'll be something dope.
I mean,
something fresh for the fans.
They talked about it, but it's like every single time you ever hear it, it's like it's always trash. It's never gonna launch. And then even if you were to ever get the Batman Beyond, I don't think so. It would be Terry McGinnis. It'll more likely be Damian being Batman Beyond, but just a little bit different story plex.
Yeah, they're gonna take a name that people will recognize more, and they'll make it Damian or
because if you say like, oh, they took the genetics, cause now we really got to go deep. Like, when did they actually capture? Because let's be honest, as far as I can remember, they didn't really explain how they captured Batman's genetics.
No, they did.
They did. It was in an episode of Justice League Unlimited when Terry goes. I think it was
right when they did the cross. When they did the cross. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even a crossover. It was a standalone episode that was designed to wrap up Batman Beyond, but they aired it with Justice League Unlimited. He goes and he finds an elderly Amanda Waller, and she tells a story of there being, some Justice League fight where Batman had gotten injured and left some of his blood. She took it for, safekeeping or whatever, and then from there developed the clone because she believed the world always needed a Batman, and that Batman always needed to be part Bruce Wayne and needed to have tragedy, which is why she arranged for his father to be killed and all that.
But they did, but in the Batman that way anyway.
Right there,
yeah, but she said she couldn't kill the father, but he's ended up dying anyway later.
Yeah,
which is so messed up. But
but also keep in mind, Terry's brothers also have Bruce genetics. It wasn't just only Terry.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said, but I didn't know.
No, it's in the comic book. Yeah, because whatever they gave his father is permanent. Like he carries.
It like overwrote his genetic makeup.
Oh, so they actually implied it into him, and then that's okay. Because I was wondering how they set that up. Because I'm like, well,
yeah, they overrode the genetic makeup of the dad by telling him it was like some kind of vaccination.
When reality,
they injected it into him, and now any offspring he produced was going to be Bruce Wayne's DNA instead of his own.
Okay.
Which they can't do that now because that will be
very polarizing.
And also it's a reality that we probably could do that now, but also they took away his rights, his reproductive rights.
Well, they took away his reproductive rights. Technically, you could make the argument that they, used, I don't know what we're, allowed and not allowed to say, if they, R-worded the mother. You could make that argument, so it's like.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
the
let's
other
avoid
argument,
using that word. We don't want to use that word, man.
well, yeah, of course.
Well, I know
But,
that's why I avoided it.
right. Because the other argument, because you can think about it is like, okay, because think about the same scenario with Damian Wayne. Like when you end up finding about Damian, aka the new Robin, I'm like, wait, how? Wait, huh?
Mhm.
Is this your what? I'm like, okay. I mean, he looks just like him. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, when did this happen? And how long were you keeping the secret?
But isn't that the future for all of us as men?
No.
Listen, we're not going down that path. What we are going to talk
Okay,
about,
like, no.
what we are going to talk about is how DC also does live action TV better. Because you can't tell me
I
that.
was gonna go there. I'm gonna say this. Arrowverse, thank you so much for the best 12 years of our lives.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
That was pure goodness. That was pure goodness.
The
I'm
Arrowverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was cinematic joy. Every minute of it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That is an incredible animated film. Like that shit is an A+, bro.
Oh, the new one too. That one's great as well. Closing out the New 52 universe and the Tomorrowverse. They did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Now, movie wise, despite being such a DC fan, I will say
that's
that
where we lack. That's where
they had Superman the movie, they had Tim Burton's Batman movies, but then they got stuck on only doing, like you were saying before, Stan, they got stuck on only doing Batman and then Superman and then doing another Batman and then doing another Superman.
Yeah, because
it's not until recently that they decided to bring in these other characters. So I will say for Marvel, they started with, Blade, but you took your big heroes like, you did only X-Men and Spider-Man for a little while, but even at the time, for the time, they were pulling out Ghost Rider, they were pulling out Fantastic Four, they were pulling out, all these Daredevil and Elektra. Now, whatever you might think of the quality of those movies, they were still taking risks that DC wasn't willing to do yet. They were just hanging all their hats on, Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
So, and then, with the MCU, the early days, especially, through Endgame, that was, all interconnected and telling one cohesive story. So I'll give Marvel doing movies better.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's just really, for real. It's just what it is.
As a whole, yes. I think there are DC movies that are better than some Marvel movies, but I think as a whole they have a better vision when it comes to their film projects.
And it's all part of like a bigger collective.
I couldn't. This is my only thing with this is like when it comes to the movies part, I can't give DC too much of that. Is like, well, because it's like even if you start one, it's like, okay, great, you start one. But the thing is, you start one only to scrap it and then redo it again. And then it's like versus Marvel, you start one, solid. You did another one, solid. You may screw it up just a tad bit, but you made it. You made it land with the third one. And it's like, even with Blade, it's like, started great. Second one, solid. Third one, yeah, at least you made it land. At least you're getting.
I don't know, man. Third one was
not all that great. I'm not saying it was all that, but I'm saying at least you got it to land. My thing is with DC, they're not getting theirs to land, even if it's 3. It's like, even if it's like, you can't tell me, okay, when you do which Batman I'm thinking of right now in my head.
How could we possibly know that not being a telepathic empath?
Well, I gave you that one. But no. Which one I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of which one? Is it the okay, the one when he faces Bane, that movie, that Batman.
Dark Knight Rises.
You're right. So that particular one, we all saw the ending. We all saw what happened in the ending. Every single time. It's like, okay, we get the 1, you're about to get to the 2. We don't get no 2. Blow it up. Okay, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to square one. Okay. Oh, okay, we get George Clooney. Granted, most people say they don't like George Clooney Batman. A, whatever it is. Me personally, I do only for one reason. We got Robin, we got Batgirl. At least we get that. At least we get that. God damn it.
You know what DC should invest on developing a film based on? They should make a film based on the Red Hood. The storyline's incredible.
Well, yeah.
His agility is like
1,000%.
Man,
Okay,
that
look,
will sell out.
I agree to that, but here's the problem. The Robin that we had, that could have been the Red Hood. The problem is they never went through it.
No, Chris O'Donnell absolutely could not have been the Red Hood. Never.
No, but
in
he's
a
the only.
million
But he's
years.
the only. Wait a minute. But he's the only one that makes sense because why? Let me tell you why. Remember, between Batman and Bane, they're the only ones that knew about Ray Shaw at that point, right? So that particular Batman at that point is the only one that makes sense for that Robin. And remember, the first Robin would be the Red Hood Robin, because that's always the first.
No, the first one would be
No,
Nightwing.
the first Robin was Nightwing, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd was the second Robin.
So the first Robin is Dick Grayson. The second. No. Wait.
Yeah, because Jason Todd.
See, I always get
by
to
the
see.
Joker.
I always
Jason?
believe the first one was the red and black one. The red and black Robin was the first one, and then it was the other Robin.
No. First Robin was Dick Grayson. He becomes Nightwing. Second Robin is Jason Todd. He becomes Red Hood. Third Robin is Tim Drake. He becomes Red Robin. Fourth Robin was Stephanie Brown. She becomes Spoiler. And then the fifth Robin is Damian Wayne, who's still Robin.
What about Cassandra? What Cassandra fell into this?
Dead.
Cassandra Cain was never a Robin. She was a Batgirl.
Yeah, she was automatically Batgirl. But I know, but the
now she's
female Robin you're
orphaned.
talking about, I believe that female Robin ends up dying. There's another Robin in there. I believe there is.
Well, the only other Robin would be the Carrie Kelly, and Carrie Kelly was in the Dark Knight Returns universe. She's not in the main continuity.
Right, because I do remember they said there was one other female Robin, but she don't make it though.
That's Stephanie. She supposedly died, but it was never confirmed, and then she came back as Spoiler.
Right.
Okay. So DC.
Okay, so the first Robin is. Oh man, I thought the first Robin was okay. That's some. Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna wrap it up with this last subject matter. We're gonna expound on the Black independent comics. My personal favorite would be the Godhood comics. Is the Umbrella, and my favorite, and which is the spearhead for this comic company, would be Mega Woman. I think her storyline's incredible. Her powers is incredible. I mean, it's just an incredible comic. It's an A+ for me. I want to get your opinion on that. Start off with you, Chris. Talk to me.
Mega Woman, she's part of the antagonists, right?
Yes, a part of the antagonists, yeah.
See, I love the antagonists as a whole. That's such a great story. It's got shades of The Boys in it, and I think that it's Tyler Martin, who created it, did a great job. I think taking a concept and allowing it to be represented in a community for a community without it being a parody and without it being pandering. And I mean, I can't speak to it that part of it as much, but to just reading it, it felt like it wasn't. They weren't doing it just
Are
to do
you talking
it.
about that she's black and her father's Zeus from Mount Olympia?
No, I'm talking about the antagonist as a whole, making a team, a team and a storyline of black superheroes telling the story without it seeming like they're pandering or making it seem like they're just trying to shoehorn it into another story. I love seeing everybody get to see themselves in comics, because I feel like it's something that should be able to and can represent everybody. And so I like that about the story as a whole. But I think the antagonist tells a great standalone story, and you don't need to have a whole universe you have to follow to enjoy it. It's a contained element, and I like that.
Go ahead, Stanley, man. Let me get your thoughts on that.
You look like you're ready to jump in for something.
He about to do some unholy. Yeah,
You know, let me tell you about why it's not feminist.
Unholy.
No, I have my own. I go for Black Sands comics. They have this unique character based in the Egyptian times, so it's kind of like Naruto meets Yu-Gi-Oh. I just like it. It's just very different, and I like it. I like going for the independent route, especially when it's like 100 pages. I don't want to be like waiting forever if it's 32 pages, waiting for 2 years for number 2 to come out. Yeah. I like it when it comes in a nice book form, and then I can wait for the next book.
Release volumes. Don't just release individual comics. Like release it as graphic novel sets. Absolutely.
Yes, and we need more of that because it's finding sellers or finding stores is hard to come by because a lot of them are closing down. And also, you don't want to go to the Amazon route. No, shout out to Amazon. Thank you, but I don't want it in digital form. I want it in my hands.
You've redeemed yourself now. Thank you.
So that's I like it, and I'll look into this one too because it's important, like you said, Chris. Like it's important that we get that, and also like there's a universe where everybody could get along. Keep in mind, Hero for Hire was a good one. Where across the race, everybody got together and worked together, and also Icon, Milestone Comics, Blood Syndicate, Static was part of Milestone before it became DC. Yep. So there's always been a market for it, and I'm here for it.
So, Wale, final thoughts on this, man?
Final thoughts on the who's of Black independent comics. Mm-hmm. So these are the two that I pretty much knew because I actually follow both of them. And that is like the Black Sands. Because I know about that one because they were on Shark Tank, they're trying to get investment. So I know about him. So I followed him through his IG page. And then the other one was Rippaverse. I found him just magically off of YouTube like one day. And then, all that stuff. But those are the main two I knew at that point in time until like you hit me with the question. So it made me look at more. But those were the main two I knew at that point. But the other ones, they were very interesting because I do know like one of the ones she was talking about, like the antagonists, like those, like the comics that I've seen, like those are pretty nice. Like just looking at what they got so far. So yeah.
Word. This was a amazing show, man. We gotta make this on the regular. I want to do about 2 shows a month, man. So this was a dope dialogue, man. And us as fans, I think if like anybody that owns shares of Marvel, DC, they would see what we're talking about. We'll give them good ideas on how to make the next film, man. Word is born. Yeah.
Definitely.
Word. Just hire us. We'll tell you exactly what you need
to
do to make all of us like it.
Yeah. Cut us a check. Yeah, we'll help out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Getting ready to sign out. Seek wisdom, practice humility, and always remain sucker free. Yo, y'all keep in touch with me. We'll figure out for the next show, y'all. All right. I'll catch y'all on the flip. Peace.
All right, peace.